Hey, it's Aaron. I'm here just making this video for all you guys who weren't able to come to our leadership meeting about the upcoming program in the youth, and those of you who are possibly interested and just want to figure out, if you can do this, what kind of commitment you're able to make. I just want to kind of walk you through this program thing I sent you, so that way you can know and that sort of thing. And just, if you have any questions, feel free to email me or text me or whatever you need to do. But I just want to walk you through this real quick, hopefully a quick little video here, so that way you have a better idea of what's going on, and you can know if you can possibly commit to this, or if you're not going to be able to, or what maybe you can do, and that sort of thing. Just going through this here. This is going to be called the Revamp Program. The best way I found to try to explain this is this. Let me give you a general breakdown first of all, then we'll walk through each step here along the way that kind of breaks those things in more detail. So basically what this group program is that we'll take our youth group and split it into teams. You could do more than this, but we're going to do probably 3 teams to start with. This year we're probably going to do 3 teams. So we're going to split our whole youth group into 3 teams. And when I say split into teams, I mean there are some students who come all the time, who are here every week. There's some students who we have come once a month, come to our lock-ins, that sort of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to break the students up equally. All the students who come all the time, we're going to split them up amongst different teams. The kids who are kind of in the middle, they come every other week or so on and so forth, we're going to split them up evenly amongst those teams as well. And then kids who only come, every once a month or very rarely, and we're trying to get them to come more, we're going to split them up evenly. So that way, ideally, everyone has an even team, a split team, and we'll have 3 different to begin with. So what we'll do as leaders, this is really y'all are the most important part of this. You're the success or the failure of this group, honestly. What will basically happen is for the next 13 weeks, it's really going to be about 15 or 16, but we'll have 2 or 3 weeks off for Labor Day, for fall break for the students, that sort of thing. But there will be a 13-week program that we will be on Sunday nights, 13 weeks starting August 20th to the first week of December. And what basically you would do is each week you'll have your team, and we'll meet about that next week on Thursday night, and then the Thursday night after that. But we'll split our teams up, and you'll have your team, and we'll give you the information, all the information we have for those students that you have, so on and so forth. The kids who come all the time, obviously we're not going to text and call them every single day or whatever, or every week even. I mean, obviously you're not doing that every day with anyone probably, unless they're like, really reaching out to you or something. But you're going to probably be contacting them, text them on Saturday, hey, can't wait to see you tomorrow night, even if we know they're there all the time. But a student who came, once a month, 2 months ago, or comes every now and then, our idea is to take all our students who come throughout the different times, get them all there together as frequently as we can. That's kind of the goal of this competition, for them to grow with God and grow with each other as the Lord sees fit, and to have some fun and that sort of thing, of course, as well. And so basically as a leader, your job is to each week contact the students, get them there on Sunday night, and then on Sunday night kind of help lead this program. And as I said, we'll get into a little more detail as we read through this. But that's the overall scheme. It's a 13-week program. Everyone's competing with your team. The biggest way you win points is by having your friends there and bringing visitors with you, and then also winning the games each week, and so on and so forth. The winner of this program, we're going to start a new trip this upcoming spring. I think it'll be the end of January, beginning of February, one weekend. We're going to go on a ski trip. The winning team will be able to qualify to go on that ski trip. So we're competing for 13 weeks. The winning team students will be able to qualify to go on that ski trip for free. But they have to do certain things within the program that actually qualifies them for that. So that being said, that's kind of the overall baseline. It's kind of confusing, so I want to break it down like in detail on this piece of paper. Hopefully you'll have a little more idea though with me giving you that front thing, okay? General information. It's a 13-week program. One will be our fall festival that we use to build the youth group during the fall, where teams compete against each other to win a free trip, as I said. If students on the winning team, then they qualify to win the trip. But just because you're on the winning team does not mean you go for free. So let's say that each team starts about 10 to 12, and let's say by the end of this program they're at 15, 20, 30, whatever. And everybody on that team who came one time, you don't get to go for free just because you were on a winning team. You have to actually qualify. So what this means is that to qualify, you must attend 7 of our Sunday night youth services. The students must. They had to attend 4 outside services, if that be Sunday school or Sunday morning or the Wednesday night or the high school group or whatever. They have to send 4 outside of Sunday night services with our church. And then they must participate in 3 of the 4 fundraisers we'll offer. We may even offer 5 fundraisers, but we're definitely going to offer 4. And they have to participate in at least 3 of those fundraisers. The only backhanded thing to this program, I have to clarify this, is that, let's say you're a student who is super committed, you're there every week, you go to every fundraiser, all these things, right? And you do all this stuff. but at the end of the program, your team were to not win, well, unfortunately, your team will not be qualified to win this free trip. So we do have to clarify that up front, and I know that part does kind of stink, but it's just part of it. It's what helps build that, because whenever you're going to these fundraisers, you're helping build the program, what we call the pot of stuff to give money to the students who were able to win the trip for free. So the car wash, for example, you go to the car wash, whoever goes to the car wash, that's just money that's going to go straight into the pot. Unless you win, you don't really get any money from that. But if you sell donuts, we'll probably do something along the lines of where you sell 4 or 5 donut boxes, that money goes into the pot. But anything beyond that is a fundraising money just for you. No matter win or lose, you're gaining money just for yourself from that. So and you'll win points by doing that. So there'll be some that are specifically for the pot, and some that will go a little bit, some of it will be for the pot money that we put in towards the winning trip, and then beyond that will be just for the student win or lose. But so anyways, so if you're on the winning team, you come these 13 weeks, you make sure you're at 7 of those, 4 outside ones, and you do 3 or 4 fundraisers, and you're on the winning team, then you get to go on this trip for free by doing all these things because you've raised money in the fundraisers and your team's won and you brought people with you, so on and so forth. So it kind of gives students an incentive to come. It also gives them an incentive to invite their friends, because the biggest way you earn points is by bringing friends with you consistently. And so you say, hey, I'm trying to win a free trip, but if you come and you qualify with me, you win a free trip too. So it's pretty cool. Each service, teams will have different opportunities to acquire points, right? These opportunities may include things like the team who has the most Bibles, team that has most spirit, or team who wins the game for the night. There are many different ways for a team to win points, but those will be discussed. We'll talk a little bit more about those. The biggest thing I said is bringing friends with you. And so what this is going to look like is we're going to come to service at 5 o'clock on Sunday night. We have a service from 5 to 7. And so if all the leaders get there about 4:45, we'll all meet here at 5 o'clock on Sunday night. All the youth will be here. From 5 to 5:30 is a hangout time. Play basketball, play Foursquare, go upstairs, hang out, whatever. 5:30 we have food provided for us by the children's staff, which is really awesome. We have free food for everybody. We'll eat for about 10-15 minutes. At 5:40 we're going to start a 5-minute countdown. During that 5-minute countdown, the students will have 5 minutes. Whichever team gets it done first will gain points. If somebody goes over, they'll lose points. And so at that 5-minute countdown, your team has to split up to the 3 teams in the room. So we'll do 3 sets of 4 chairs. So 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12. And the room will be split up with these 3 teams. And at 5:45, we'll start the service. We'll start with, so what you're going to do then is we'll have like a small group time where the leaders meet with their students. They write down, okay, this person's here, this person's here, this person's here. Oh, a new person's here. And okay, they've been here 2 times. That sort of thing. You're going to have a sheet that I'll give you that will kind of give you a way to break that down between you and the other 3 or 4 leaders who are with you per team. And we'll do that. Then what we're going to do is we'll come together and I'll say, all right, who's ready, for our Revamp program? Who's ready, Old Camp Youth, And we'll have a big spirit time. We'll have a spirit stick and all that. Whichever team's loudest will win the spirit stick, and we'll go around. Whichever team has the most visitors, so on and so forth. This is just kind of a big fun, kicking off, let's go time. Then we'll have a game, and that's kind of broken down in each, week as much as I can up to this point. On the back 2 pages here, it kind of breaks down each game that you'll have. And like the first week is Fear Factor, and that's going to be a big night we're going to push. Then the next week your team comes up with a name, and so on and so forth. Each week you compete and do different things. And then we'll obviously have like a devotional and prayer time where I'll kind of lead like a little message, that sort of thing, and that sort of stuff. So it's going to be a really good time of fun, enjoyment, kicking people off and getting everybody excited, and then also really obviously point to God, as that's our whole goal here, is to grow students with the Lord. So that's what it's going to look like. And so you'll have that time where you have a little sheet and you'll take mark of each person's thing. That's basically here your role at the bottom here, and kind of what you're going to be doing at the Sunday night service. That's what this looks like for you. And so as a leader, your job is to keep track each service of what points your team gets. That's how you'll do that. You'll be given a form each week that allows you to mark attendance, the most amount of points possible. Like I said, that's the most amount of points. So what that'll look like is you'll get different points for winning games and stuff like that, but that stuff really won't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. The biggest way you earn points is by bringing people with you, as I've said many times. It's that inspires students to get their friends there. So what that looks like is the first week you come, you might get I got to break down the exact point system, but it'll be something along the lines of you'll get about 5,000 points if a friend comes with you the first week. Second time somebody comes, they get 10,000 points for coming twice. Third time you come, your team gets 15,000 points. But then the 4th time a student comes, so if they come 4 times in a row, it'll be 30,000 points. It'll be double what it was for 3 times. The whole reason that is to get your friends there 4 times, and you want to make sure you're there 4 times. You want to make sure they're there 4 times. And so then from that, they bring people with them, so on and so forth. You want them to get there 4 times because you get the most amount of points possible by doing that. and it was going to look something like that. But like the fourth time will be double the amount of points. That's the biggest way they earn points. And so obviously, as a leader, your role will be to mark on that sheet if they've been there 1, 2, 3, or 4 times. Then, so as it says here, that's the most way you can win points, the number of Bibles, offering, many other factors that will be on that sheet for you to realize. Teams will be determined before the program begins, and will have certain objectives that they need to complete, which we have marked out there on the back of the sheet. Top of all that, your most important responsibility is to show the love of Jesus Christ to your teams. That's our goal here, right? Have fun, get a bunch of people here, whatever. But if we're not showing Jesus to whoever we do have, and we're not making that our main goal, then we've missed it. So to making sure that Christ is at the center of all we do in our hearts and minds, and as leaders, to avoid temptations, avoid things that we're not supposed to be doing, obviously, and then to lead these students into growing their relationship with God and what that looks like, and how we can be a part of leading them to Christ and what that means. Keep them motivated about the program, obviously. Constantly remind the teams what they're competing for, the trip, and just for in general to, bragging rights in the youth, that sort of thing. And the fastest way to get more points, invite more friends. Then the biggest thing, so you'll come on Sunday nights and do that at 4:45 to about 7:15 if you can commit that time to us for the next 13 weeks. Then on top of that, there will be about an hour of your time, I would say, outside of the program, probably about 15 to 20 minutes a day. Or maybe just on Thursday night or Friday, whatever day it would be close to Sunday night. Maybe you can spend an hour of your time outside of the program. So it'll be you, or I don't know exactly who I'm talking to who's watching this video, but if you're a married couple, then it would look like you're probably going to be together, and you're probably going to have 2 young, like college-age leaders who will be with you. If you're a college leader, right, you see how that works. There's going to be about 4 leaders between you all. And what your goal is during that week is to contact students. Ones who have been there all the time, like I said, maybe not, that much, just quick text or whatever. But a kid you just met last week, we really want to call them. We want to get back up information on them. We want them to be excited. We want them to know we're excited that they are here with us, and we want them to remember the whole thing about the team. So the first week, you're what you'd say on the second page here would look something like this. Hey, hey, Susie, my name's Aaron. For me, I would only be contacting males. So, hey, Jim, my name's Aaron, and Hannah and I are going to be your team leaders at Old Camp Youth's new Revamp program. If you don't know about Revamp, it's a team competition that we do for the next several weeks, and the winning team will win a free trip at our conference with our youth group, the ski trip. If you meet these qualifications, which, you want to explain those. We are very excited for you to be a part. Your team color will be red, so try and wear that color as we can really represent our team. If you ever need anything or any questions, please feel free to call or text me. So each team leader will have different colors, right? Like one team will be red, green, and blue at first. And then you come up with your team name, but your color will stay the same throughout the semester. So the first week at Fear Factor, we're going to call them beforehand with generally this information right here, and let them know what team they're on, that sort of thing. Tell them, hey, you're going to be the red team, so you make sure you find us and wear red that night. Then when we split up, we'll split up red, green, and blue team, and so on and so forth. Then every week you'll gain a name and stuff like that, but you'll still be the red, green, and blue with your team name on top of that. And we want to keep these things in mind, like I just said a minute ago. We try to never contact kids after 8 p.m. Give them their family time. We find that important. This is something we don't want to miss out on. Make sure that if you're a female, you're talking to females. Males, you're talking to males. There's really no reason for the other way around. We want to try to keep it in that parameters. If it is, make sure it's obviously, I would just say let's not do that at all. It says here, just no really excuses on that. I think everybody in our leaders is great. I don't think we'd have any problems, but we just want to keep ourselves safe and make sure that we are doing what we can to keep ourselves safe, and also just being above reproach of the idea that nobody even thinks that we're doing anything. So we want to make sure we're staying out of those situations. Always be positive, encouraging. No need to waste time, though. You don't got to talk to them for an hour and a half on the phone. 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. Just get a quick conversation with them, even just leave a voicemail. If you are able to text them, if you're a little more familiar with them, or find them on social media, whatever you can do. Just contact them outside of service a good bit in advance so they have some time to think about, remember, tell their parents, tell their friends to come back on that Sunday night, or to come back if they were here 2 months ago, or whatever the situation is. Then I said ways to win points is the different games, team name, flag, chant, most dressed theme night, skits, and obviously the biggest thing is friends. Weekly is spirit stick, and I think we're going to do most Bibles and most offering game. And then checking on social media, we'll probably get some points for that if they hashtag us or whatever. And the biggest thing, like I said, is them to bring their friends. And they need to realize that. And, because games, if having 4 visitors is going to be worth 30 or 45,000 points or whatever, games are only going to be worth 3,000 to 5,000 points. They're going to be so minimal because to me, that's really not the point. Is, you know, anybody can win a game, but the whole point is for you to come and bring your friends to youth, for everybody to get to know the Lord more. That is why we're doing this. That's the purpose of this, and that's the biggest reason. You know, that's what this program is built for. I told our leaders at some of our meetings when we used to do this program when I was in high school, there would be points I would look down the aisle, and not just from me, but from me inviting a friend. There'd be times I looked down the aisle, and from a group that I was with that I had invited, there'd be 15 to 20 kids sometimes, at least 12 to 20, anywhere from 12 to 20. I knew another girl, and I wasn't like super, you know, great or anything in high school. I was just in a band, and so I had a bunch of friends from there that would come. But there was a girl who was like Miss Popular. She was a cheerleader and all this stuff like that. She would have sometimes about 30 kids at times who would come with her. And it's all because of this program setting the stage for that, getting you motivated and excited about that. We got to get our students excited about that, and getting them bringing their friends. Just between us at times, we'd have 45 students just between me and her, and that wasn't including the rest of our program, which built from about 30 students to 100, and a big night's 150, which would obviously be an amazing goal for us to try to reach to, you know, somewhere in that 100 range. And I think it's definitely possible. We've already had 2 events since I've been here where we had 75 at one, just students, and we had 60 at another. And so if we can continue doing that, motivating students, getting them here, I think we can reach these goals, or, you know, as close as we can to it. So lastly, I'm not really going to break you through this because this is pretty self-explanatory here. Your schedule, you know, week 1, we're ready to Fear Factor on August 20th. That'll be the kickoff night. And then each week after that, team name, team flag, da-da-da-da. The biggest thing I'm going to tell you is we are going to take off the Labor Day Sunday night, so it gives you that Sunday night with you and your family. We are going to take off the week of fall break, which off the top of my head, it's on the schedule, but I believe it's October 15th. That Sunday night, we are going to take off the week before Thanksgiving. So the week after Thanksgiving, you know, everybody's kind of coming back in town. So we are going to have it that Sunday night. But the week before, we will not have youth that week because everybody leaves out of town and stuff. So you will have those nights off. All the other nights we'll be doing things. When we have the fall festival night, it's just going to be about just coming. We're not going to have like a big service or anything. It's just going to be getting kids there, that sort of thing. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. It basically asks that you give us your Sunday nights from 5 to 7. If you have kids or anything like that, we do have a kids program here, so you can just, you know, take them to that. And they'll be watched during the whole time you're here, which is kind of cool. And they're getting to learn and grow with God, and you're getting to be a part of something that eventually they will be a part of as they get into our youth group. And if you have students in the youth, you know, you obviously get time to be with them. But Sunday nights 5 to 7, and about 4:45 to 7:15 for our leaders. And then we ask that you do try to give us about an hour of your time outside of the Sunday night program where you're reaching out to the students amongst your team. So you'll probably start with about 15 to 20 students on your team, and it's broken up between 4 of you. That's about 5 students a person, and it might grow to 7 to 10, maybe a little more. That'd be awesome if we could get that many on a team by the end of the program. And, you know, you're reaching out for them about 3 minutes a week. That's about an hour, maybe a little more if your team gets bigger and bigger. And so it's not a whole lot to ask from you, and it's a part of you being able to be a servant and do some ministry of your own. You know, I'm the youth minister, but if I'm the only one, I'll never reach, you know, that many kids. But as a team and as a leadership group who can reach these students, we can see a lot come to know the Lord, and you get to know that you played a vital part in serving and doing what God has placed you to do and being a part of His calling, hopefully for your life and what you're doing. Obviously, if you're not able to commit your time, no worries. We're not going to be mad or aggravated. I'm not going to be upset at all. I would like to know up front, you know, that you can't commit to this, as opposed to committing and then having to back out and us having to find, you know, replacement or something like that down the road. That is why I wanted to get this video out there. Next steps would be, if you're able to, just contact me, email me, or text me. I'll try to add that to this video. And then we're going to have a Thursday night meeting this upcoming Thursday. And that'll be on Thursday night at 7, and we're going to have about an hour meeting where we'll break the teams up. We'll tell you what team you're on and a leader of, and who's with you, and then what students will be on your team. Then we'll have another meeting the next Thursday night where we'll just kind of do a quick walkthrough of what our Sunday night service is going to look like for everybody, have a prayer time, and that sort of thing. So I just want to end with a word of prayer with everybody. If you just want to pray with me. God, we thank you for these great leaders, God, who are willing to spend some time at least watching this video and committing their time. We ask that you'll help me and my wife and then all of these leaders, God. Just bring the right people in at the right times, the right places. Place us all together as you'd have us to. Lead and guide and anoint us to do what you'd have us to do. Show people where they need to commit or maybe where they don't need to, God, so we can do as you'd have us to do. To see a lot of students, but the right students here, and more importantly than that, God, Lord, yeah, to have fun, enjoyable, and all that stuff, but most importantly, to see students' lives change for you. May that be our goal, and may that happen. And use each and every one of us as a part of this, and just lead and guide all these things and everything. We thank you, Lord. Bless each and every one of these leaders with their family and their lives and everything they have going on, and may they turn towards you more and through it all. And we thank you, God. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, guys.